Hello everyone, welcome back to another One Piece Chris video. Back for the S-Bear Sugo Fest treasure map, and this one is going to obviously super evolve the Pirate King Adventures 5-star S-Bear. The mini bosses are quite simple this time around. These are the teams you're running, just check if you have the units. The final boss and Intrusion are basically the exact same team. The only change is that support of S or one of the pacifistas. You can definitely replace that. So if you're missing that character, ask down in the comments. I'll find a replacement. Sabo, I don't think is required either. So yeah, just ask me if you don't have these characters. Let's start off with the mini bosses, however. The first one here is very basic. We basically just have a special bind to our crewmates. That's the only debuff. We do also get a full board of bomb orbs, which are made unfavorable and also become locked with the slot change impossible debuff. Now we can completely get around that by using a character that sets our orbs to rainbow or wano at the start of the quest. In this case, we're using that Intashira Hoshi. So she's going to change all of our orbs into rainbow at the start of the quest. We don't actually need a special. Since there is no debuffs that we really have to worry about, we can actually run a character as our captain who's going to give us a lot of damage very quickly. Kuzan at level number break 3 is the perfect option. He's a cooldown captain. He's universally attack boosting to every single character in the game. And then of course he gives a 2x attack and orb boost at the 3rd stage. And that effect activates instantly. So this is a great option for speed and damage. He's a very versatile character. His special is also great. And he's going to give us a chain boundary on the final stage. If he's not at level number break 5, you'll still just get a 2.5x chain lock, which is still sufficient. So with all that, we'll have a 2x attack and orb boost and a 2.75x chain boundary minimum. Then we'll also have the color affinity from Jack. Now Jack is important. We are going to use him on stage 2 to wave clear and also give us a 3-turn color affinity to our powerhouse characters. Now since the boss is quick, of course we are using type advantage. A general good rule is to have 2 units with type advantage who have great stats so that they can actually deal decent damage to the boss. We'll have a 2x attack, orb boost, and color affinity, and the chain with 2 attacking units with color affinity and type advantage. So this team is very strong overall. Ignore the support on Jack; it's completely useless. And that's about it for this team. I mean, Kuzan level number break 3 minimum. Otherwise, the damage will be very bad. Next one is against Atlas. Now, of course, the boss is strength, so we need at least 2 quick units. Now, the only problem in this boss is chain. Essentially, the only debuff we have is a 4.5x minimum chain attack down. So we have to get to a very high chain with as little taps as possible. So that's quite difficult considering there's not a really good chain locking unit who gives such a high chain lock. So we have to rely on chain boundary plus a bunch of other chain buffing abilities. Now Yamato is probably the most interesting character for this because she actually just gives free chain in her captain ability plus 3 to the minimum chain. And of course that stacks. Double Yamato is plus 6. And that's going to give us to a 1.6 chain immediately. Then we have our kid-in-law. Stage 2 we use their special. Their special is quite high cooldown, 13 turns, which is the reason we need a -2 cooldown ship as well as the crewmate ability from Nico Robin to give him a turn of cooldown at the start of the quest. So stage 1 we can actually just tap with normal units. Your captain's Yamato will kill very quickly since they will have Wano orbs from the crewmate ability of Iori. Then stage 2 we use Kid-in-Law to wave clear and give us a chain boundary of minimum 2.25x and a chain growth rate buff of 0.2 for every good strike. So the goal is to get past the chain attack down with just 1 good strike, which we still get 0.2 with the chain growth rate manipulation that Kid-in-Law provides. So with the chain growth rate buff, the chain boundary, and the chain boost from Yamato's captain, we get up to about a 3.05x chain, which is still quite a ways away from what we need. Remember, we need at least 4.55x to get past the chain attack down. That leaves us with a 1.5 chain boost that we need. So since Yamato's chain boost is organic, it's just naturally embedded into the chain, we can actually still use a regular chain boosting icon buff. That's where Brook comes into play, giving us a 1000 base attack boost and a 1.6 chain boost. That's really all that Brook does, but his special is really fast, and it is also very strong with the base attack boost. Then we have Cavendish, who's going to give Brook himself a 1.5x attack and all boost. With all that, Brook is going to be hitting insanely in terms of the damage. He'll have attack boost and all boost of 1.5x. He'll have a 4.5 or actually a 4.65x chain. He'll have a 1000 base attack boost, and he'll have a 1-0 orb from Hiyori's crewmate. So overall, damage is definitely not going to be a problem. Nico Robin will also hit for some decent numbers with her type advantage. If you need color affinity, there's probably a support you can add as well, such as the limited supporter recruit Chopper. You could attach that to Robin. There's a lot of different potentials to make that team a lot stronger. Next team up is going to be another Yamato team. And this time we are using this Robin, or this Yamato. I don't know why I get them confused. Yamato and Robin, two very different characters. For this one, we are suggested to use the Jinbei from the recent batch of the Lucci and Luffy, and then also the S-Shark from last month's Pirate King Adventures. We aren't actually even using any of them, so this boss is going to give our bottom row and our top row 9 turns of bind, and give our top row 9 turns of despair. Of course, that goes down to 9 and to 6 respectively with sockets. The enemy also does a 150k death hit upon death, which cannot be ignored. And then also we could not use any orb boosts because they will be reduced by 3 turns. So we're just not going to use an orb boost. So how this team works is, also it's great that we have a lot of boosted characters on this team. Now, we are running a full Free Spirit and Cerebral team, so we get the utility from Yamato's captain. So with double Yamato, it's 6 turns of bind and despair removal, bringing us down to 3 turns of bind and completely removing the despair. Upon which we can use the special of our Parrot and Nami to get around the remaining turns of bind, as well as give us a chain boundary effect. And then we use the special of our Yamato to give us an attack boost, an orb boost, color affinity, and unfortunately the orb boost gets removed, but it is a very weak orb boost. We still get a very strong 3.25x attack boost and a 2x color affinity. Where is it now? Actually no, it's a 3x color affinity, my bad. And then she also gives a damage reduction based attack boost. So Yamato partnered with Nami and Carrot is ridiculous for damage. We get a 2x. Oh yeah, and also I forgot to mention, but we're also using the X Super of Yamato. That gives our Free Spirit and Cerebral super class, as well as giving us the damage reduction to survive the death hit. So overall, a lot happening here. 3.25x attack boost, 3x color affinity, chain boundary, chain boost. We have super class for 2 classes that everyone's getting. We have 4 units, or 3 units should I say, with type advantage and have boosted stats. Yeah, this team is very, very, very solid. Now, the only thing that I'm seeing here that's missing is wave clear. So I'm actually just going to see if I can quickly make an arrangement. Yeah, unfortunately for Free Spirit Cerebral, there's only really one good wave clearer, that's Ivankov. So you can use them, and that's going to also give us wave clear on stage 2. Stage 1 you can just tap normally. I mean, you should be able to kill quite easily with your boosted characters. So overall, just make sure you have your Free Spirit and Cerebral units. You need 3 characters that are going to fulfilling the X Super of your Yamato. So Komurasaki, Robin, and the Nami Carrots are all units that are going to proc that. and also they are very helpful, being damage dealers and point boosters. So our Komurasaki and our Nami Carrot are going to be our main damage dealers on this team. Very solid in terms of damage. The only thing that might be a bit annoying is killing on stage 1 the turtles. But yeah, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Next is going to be up against Shaka. Now Shaka is also a strength boss. There's a lot of strength bosses here. 2 strength bosses and 2 quick. This one is using our Kikunojo and Izo to remove a lot of paralysis. Now there are 3 main debuffs on this boss. It's going to be special rewind, special bind, as well as paralysis. Now initially I did want to use your Halloween Ace. That's going to innately remove special rewind and special bind with his captain. But I realized that you can kind of ignore the special bind and special rewind. Paralysis, you cannot ignore that. So Kikunojo and Izo is more useful. The good thing about Kikunojo and Izo is that they also basically set up the final turn or the final stage in the second stage. By that I mean there's special wave clears, and it gives us a 3-turn chain lock that will last until the final stage. They also give us 1-0 orbs for the final stage, and in addition to that they extend orb boosts so that it lasts until the final stage. Stage 1 we use Kamazo, a very frequent character I use in treasure maps, for a 2-turn orb boost and wave clear on stage 1. That 2-turn orb boost becomes 1 turn by stage 2, upon which it is extended by 2 turns by Kikunojo and Izo special. Since we have 5 slashes on the team, Kikunojo and Izo special is going to set the top row to 1-0 orbs. The top row is also coincidentally our attacking row for this team, and then they also give the 3.5x chain lock. So then we have Toki, who is literally unrequired, only if you want even more damage. They give an attack boost and color affinity, which is the missing piece to our puzzle of a full range of attack boosting buffs. Since our captain has a 1-0 orb, she does give an attack boost, and she also gives a color affinity. Since she is on the right row, she is going to get inflicted with the rewind. Forgot to mention, but left row gets special bind, and the right row gets, or the right column should I say, gets rewind. So Toki's great. She's one of the only characters in this game that actually negate a lot of turns of special rewind in her crewmate. So she will be ready. She will negate the rewind, and then we can use her special. But you could also just use Dogstorm. I think actually Dogstorm was the planned unit because he completely resists rewind. Yeah, actually Toki's completely useless, never mind. Because the rewind is 3 turns. Dogstorm is the unit I found who reduces all 3 turns. So left column gets rewind, right column gets special bind. Put Dogstorm in the left column. He gets the rewind negated. Use his special for an attack boost. Color affinity from the Odin support. And then the Luffy support on our Kikunojo and Izo is just for stats. And then we have our Carrot and Wanda, who's just there for stats and point boost. That's the basic rundown of the team. Toki's very useless there. I forgot to remove her. You could replace her with anyone. Just make sure that you are running at least 5 slashes to fulfill Kikunojo and Izo's special requirement. Okay, so the final boss. A lot of defensive effects, and all of them are at very low turn amounts. So if you go here, stage 2, we are going to get, or have to deal with the enemy having attack boost, or not attack boost, the defense up, damage reduction threshold, and a barrier. So all of the basic defense buffs. Now, lucky for us, the new SBA is a triple special launch unit, and the special reduces all enemy buffs by 1 turn. That leaves us with 1 turn of our... That leaves us with 2 turns of barrier. Now, luckily, the captain ability of Luffy and Lucci is going to resist or reduce barriers by 1 turn for every unit with barrier pierce that attacks. So with 2 perfects, you can remove the barrier. As for the defense up, for the damage reduction, there is going to be, oh no, defense up, 2 tons of defense up remaining. But you can also just use Luffy and Lucci once again. Their captain ability also removes the defense up. So after using S-Bay twice, you'll have 2 tons of defense up, 2 tons of barrier, both of which are negated by Luffy and Lucci. Then we also have a rewind on the final stage of 1 turn. Oh, I think that's actually on the... Yeah, that's on the Intrusion. Nope, that is here. So 1 turn of special rewind. Luffy and Lucci negate that with a captain. We get 6 turns of top row despair. The S-Snake is of course gonna negate it on herself. Unfortunately, Luffy and Lucci do not get rid of despair with their swap. So we do have to rely on 3 turns of despair being removed by support abilities, which are done by these characters. Stussy is very useless besides facilitating that support. She literally does nothing. Ignore all of this jibber jabber. That's if you mess up and don't kill in 1 turn. Here, we are going to be getting or having to deal with 1 turn of resilience on the enemy. Once again, Luffy and Lucci negate that with their captain ability. We do get a limit of 2 taps, but you should be fine regardless. And then we have a full board of block orbs, which are changed by the X super of Luffy and Lucci. Or you could just use the X super of S-Snake, whichever one you feel like using. There is going to be 6 turns of threshold, which is why we are running the Nami and Karina character. In Karina form, we'll remove 6 turns of threshold. We have S-Bear, who's just... S-Shark, should I say, who's just there to remove... nothing, just there for stats and point boost. That's a basic rundown of the final boss. And then the Intrusion, S-Snake is going to be a lot more useful here. There's a lot of defense up. So what we can actually do is use her on stage 2. We also have 4 turns of enemy defense up, or damage reduction should I say. And then a full board of Dex and Quick Orbs. So for dealing with the damage reduction, we are just going to use the Nami and Karina. No, we are going to use S-Bay. So S-Bay is going to remove 3 turns of that. One thing I forgot to consider is that there is going to be 1 turn remaining. So you will need to add a support to reduce 1 turn of damage reduction. So I did change things up a bit in terms of the supports. So we are going to be using Lucci and Luffy. They're special on the 2nd stage that procs the A support and removes 2 turns of damage reduction, alongside 2 activations of S-Bear that will completely remove the damage reduction, the defense up with the S-Snake special, and then on the final stage we get around the 7 turns of defense up as well as the 6 turns of attack down with the Karina form of Nami and Karina. Now they only remove 6 turns themselves, so we need that Makino support. You can't use a character like this Brook because this will actually proc on the 2nd stage and we'll be screwed for the final stage. Alternatively, you could just use the remaining activation of S-Bear actually. Like genuinely, you can just do that. Just use S-Bear again because they have triple special launch. You've only used them twice on 2nd stage. So you could just use S-Bear again. That'll remove the remaining turn of defense up. Attack down's gone. And then we have, I think, nothing left. I mean, it's a very simple final boss. Damage nullify, you can just use X super of S-Snake friend captain. And then the hit barrier, you can just negate that with your captain ability of Luffy and Lucci. That's a basic rundown of all the teams. Quite a long video. I'm sorry, I'm low on energy right now. I think this will be very effective and very quick. So if you have any questions or need replacements, ask them down below. Sorry about the lack of uploads. I'm focusing on academics overall. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, and I'm out.